But it's nice to be able to kill time in New York before heading to the airport, rather than just sitting there at the airport waiting and doing nothing. Alrighty, y'all. Another day, another dollar, as they say. So it is the morning of disembarkation. We have just arrived in New York. I don't even think we're actually docked yet. I think we're still pulling in. But I have to leave in about 5-10 minutes to go down to the meeting point for this land and sea excursion adventure. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. Definitely going to be some delays, I think. We're running a little bit behind schedule, it seems, but these kinds of cruises always end up being super delayed on debarkation and stuff, so I'm not surprised. I wish they would have let us meet a little bit later, because I could have slept in a little bit more, but that's okay. I am ready for the next adventure. It's great that we get this kind of extended vlog. That's been happening, I guess, recently a couple times. It's convenient when you have a later flight to do some of those, like, you know, debarkation day excursions or whatever that take you to the airport. And so, yeah, I've been taking advantage of that. This one cost me about $65, I believe, which is not that much more than it would have cost, like, to get an Uber to the airport. So totally worth it, in my opinion. And I get to go on a little ferry around the Statue of Liberty and some land destinations as well. I'm sure there'll be food at some point, not included. I'll have to buy it, but I'm sure there's opportunity to get tons of that wonderful New York food. And then I think I'll be dropped off at the airport around 2:30 this afternoon, so it should be perfect with my flight and everything. And then I'll be home later tonight, so yeah, here we go. We'll talk soon. So I hung out in my room until the absolute last minute and then said goodbye to my nicely appointed interior cabin and made my way out into the hall. The meeting place was actually the Waves dining room. I believe that's a dining room that I hadn't actually been in at all this cruise. I did eat breakfast in there on debarkation on my first cruise ever, but on this sailing they were just using this as a meeting point for all of the New York excursions because there were several of them. On the ticket stub that I'd received the night before, there was a number, so I sat in the section that was for that number and first let me take a selfie, and soon they were calling us to debark the ship. The day before they had told me that I couldn't do the self-disembark because they were going to put our bags in a special area, but it really just ended up being the first luggage area anyway, and so I could have had all my bags with me because of course we had to collect them before clearing customs. And then once we were through customs and outside, they had the lollipop identifiers and they checked my paperwork and told me which bus to get on. The bus wasn't completely full. I think there was like 30 something of us, but it was a good sized group, and before we knew it we were on our way and doing the city portion of our tour.
So if you see a big glass wall ahead of you, that is the base of the #1 World Trade Center tower. So this is the memorial site. We are passing by the North Pool, that large square.
After the city portion, we were allowed to get off the bus and stretch our legs, and then we walked down to like the pier where the ferry was. Our guide wasn't exactly sure where we needed to be at first, so she had to go figure that out, but before long we were given ferry tickets and were just told to wait until it was time to board. Alright y'all, so here we are, waiting. We've done the land part of it, and now we're gonna do the sea part of it. It's a two-part excursion. We're waiting for the ferry to get over here to pick us up. Then we're gonna go through that security building right there, which has a pretty long line in front of it, so hopefully it doesn't take too long to get through. I've actually done this ferry before when I was here in 2016, so I'm not surprised that that's the one that's included, but it's nice to be able to kill time in New York before heading to the airport, rather than just sitting there at the airport waiting and doing nothing. So anyway, so far so good. One thing is we didn't get to get off the bus at all to take pictures or anything so far. So most of the footage and photos and stuff are through the bus window, which isn't ideal. But we've pretty much, hit all the major spots so far. So yeah, we'll talk soon. Soon the ferry was there, and we were instructed to board. Because it was a private charter, we didn't have to go through any security, which was nice. We weren't the only group there, but it was mostly just us. And there was this little side dock that we entered the ferry on, which of course was super convenient. And it was a pretty good sized boat with plenty of seats indoors, and it even had some outdoor spaces as well. The tour ended with us doing the full ferry loop and ending up back where the bus had dropped us off, and then they took us over to the airport. I had flown through LaGuardia before, but it had been several years, and I don't remember this fountain being there last time, and I thought it was super cool. And the process of getting through security was also really painless, and before I knew it, I was in the terminal and waiting for my flight. Alright y'all, I'm here at the airport, finally through security and all that. I am gonna have some lunch, I think Wendy's maybe. But yeah, lots to update you on. I don't know if I'll probably just do it in post-production or something, because it's a lot. Gotta talk about the excursion, gotta talk about airplane issues. So anyway, more about that to come. But yeah, I'm here. I'm gonna go find the gate and sit and chill for a little bit. And we'll talk soon. So I did end up having Wendy's. It was good to have some fast food after not being able to on board the ship for several days. On the ferry portion of our tour, we actually had a mom and her son get off on the wrong ferry stop, and so we spent like an extra 45 minutes trying to find them, and we were already like 45 minutes late, so we ended up getting to the airport about an hour and a half after we were supposed to, but everybody said it was fine with their flights and everything, and it was fine with mine as well because I had actually been delayed. The delay was significant enough that I definitely wasn't going to make my connecting flight, but then by some miracle, my connecting flight also got delayed, so it ended up being a non-issue, although it made for an extra long day. And I got to El Paso just past midnight, and Carlos picked me up and drove me to the house. We were only a few days away from leaving to San Antonio, so this would be the last time I would ever end a cruise at this house. And as I've done in videos in the past, I thought it would be fun to record the dog's greeting for you all. Alright, so we're home. Long journey, long day. Gonna see it here, turn the light on. Gonna see about getting the good greeting, because it's gonna be the last time I'm gonna get this greeting in this house. So they're always so excited when I get home from a trip. There she is. Hi, Kelly. Oh, Hermione, Sika, girls. I love how excited the dogs are to see me every time I come home from a trip, and I'm equally as excited to see them. But pending my review at the end, this concludes this vlog series. I want to thank you all so much for traveling with me. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all those fun things. We'll talk soon, and y'all have a good night.